Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Paul. How's it going?
Not too bad, my friend. It's still Spooktober. This is our last episode of the month. Actually, can you
Spooktober.
do that again? Because when you watch this back, you'll know why I'm asking you to do it again. Go for it.
Spooktober.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I made a little visual thing that Paul won't get to see for about 30
Oh
seconds. Yeah,
no.
no, it's good. It's not good, but it's not weird. There you go. A little bit of flaming microphone and some Spooktober.
Oh, that's
Um,
good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't weird. Holiday pictures of me and you on that special beach, because that's what I know you're waiting for. Someday they're going to be on the show. I need the views. We want the clicks. So if you want to see that in future, folks, hit like, subscribe, and share right now. If we get 10,000 likes, I'll show you the picture that we've been hiding.
Let's just say that M. Night Shyamalan's Old was based on something.
Let's just say there was a twist ending. Paul, before we before we get ourselves in trouble, let's kick into the October news, will we? Because that's what we're here to do right now, folks. We're going to look back at October in the little entertainment landscape and see what kind of news and views have come up. So will we start,
Indeed.
Paul, with why can't I find it? Oh, there's a reason I can't find it, Paul, because we're going to have to skip that and go straight to. How about we go to the big news on last week? Black Adam.
Yeah.
Black
Okay.
Adam happened, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet, but what I've been reading on the reviews and stuff like that have been quite positive.
That's
Which,
funny you should mention it, yeah.
which is interesting. But yeah, I've been interested in this because it has the Justice Society in it.
It does.
Which isn't a massive spoiler. You can definitely see the majority of them on the damn screen,
Yeah, it's
kind of thing.
it's mentioned in one of the trailers by name. I think that we're the Justice Society of America. So, Paul, I got to see it. I managed to get to go and see it, which I didn't think was going to happen. And I'm so glad I did because I enjoyed it. And here's the thing. I was going in having heard lots of negative stuff. Lots of
Oh,
this.
really?
It's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. But it was all the early critic crap. Which is why this is another example. Oops, I've messed up my imagery again. Rotten Tomatoes the other day had this at 39% critic score, and the audience score was 90%. Well, guess what? I'm siding with the audience. I found it to be easy popcorn watching. This is not Iron Man. This is not, it's not, Black Panther. It's probably not going to be Wakanda Forever, which is probably, going to come out and give you the, oh, well, that's how to do it. But you know what?
Yeah.
This was another way to do it. If you want to go and watch a fun action movie with some plot holes and get your superhero kind of boots filled, this one works. So I come out kind of going, yeah, Black Adam. I'd watch that again.
Like that's the thing. I think like and I know that Black Adam was made like I guess during or a little bit before kind of thing of Maverick. But Maverick has really told us that Top Gun Maverick has really told us that we don't need indicative kind of like complicated plot or overly intriguing. Like sometimes movies should just be movies, you know. And I think DC has a chance here to kind of build Black Adam and a couple of other franchises that will be coming out soon into just enjoyable movies just to watch
That's a
that they
great way
don't
of putting
need,
it.
you know. Like we know there's some news coming out soon that we'll probably talk about, but right now they can take the middle ground of just being entertaining rather than kind of being, building this massive franchise world and making it really kind of intriguing and interconnected and intergalactic
And
and
I'm not
everything.
going to spoil anything, but they do give you plenty of the we're going to interconnect the crap out of this eventually, which is fine. But do you remember when we watched Venom or even Aquaman and we're like, yeah,
Yeah.
Venom, Venom I really enjoyed. I thought it was fresh and different. I really enjoyed it. But Aquaman, wasn't expecting it to be much. I really enjoyed it in the end. Now, have I gone
Yeah.
back and watched it 10 times? No. Will I? Probably not. But it was good at what it did, and it deservedly made money. And I think Black Adam is deservedly making money against all the critic scores because it's really good at what it does, and it is a little different. So would I say that The Rock is now the, no pun intended, the bedrock of DC and their future? I don't think so. That's not what I think. But I would suggest you watch it, and when you do, I'm looking forward to hearing what you think. And I can see in the comments, Pop Culture, you're going to be taking your son. I hope you enjoy it. And Brew is now singing the Black Adder theme tune, so I knew he'd find a way to to turn this. I love it. But which series? Which series are you thinking of when you do that? It's always Blackadder goes forth in the end, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to be seeing it this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it just because, actually, weirdly enough, I haven't been paying attention to DC or Marvel for a bit. Like I've been watching the shows and stuff like that, and I've been keeping up in that kind of way, and the news. But like, I know that Wakanda Forever is going to be coming out soon. We're getting more trailers, more teasers, more featured, blah 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 trailer kind of in Dale.
Yeah.
But I also know that the trailer for Quantum Mania came out recently as well. It's trailer month, people, because they have to get everything in for either, they have to get everything in before the summer next year, so they need to get it in now. So we're not going to go through every trailer, but I've kind of missed a few trailers and stuff like that. But this is the movie that I'm kind of going, this will kick off my Marvel DC kind of, I guess. I've taken a break.
I don't want to set expectation too high, because yes, the movie is a mess. Yes, the story is all over the place. Yes, you're going to be able to pick more bad things about it than good things. But yet overall, if you have something you probably shouldn't be eating, some high salt content in front of you, and you're happy to enjoy a nice big screen and let somebody, fly around and punch a few things, you'll get what you paid for. So,
I more mean that I've taken a break, I guess, from oversaturating myself with the kind of superhero kind of, I guess.
Yeah, so this one should feel fresh, hopefully.
So this will bring me back into the whole thing, which I'm happy for. I know it's not going to be the best. I know it's, but I'm happy to see everybody kind of in it. I'm interested to see Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. So
again, I'll try not to review or spoil. Pop Culture says, hoping Black Adam's like Shazam, fun for what it is. I really enjoyed Shazam as well, and it's actually not a bad comparison. Very different tone, very different style, but in the overall kind of enjoyable, if you let yourself enjoy it kind of thing. So Paul, I have found my missing folder over here. I am now going to move us on to the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
Well, we were talking about Black Adam a moment ago. Why is it newsworthy? It's newsworthy because it was The Rock's big debut after all the build-up, and it was really funny that the critics hated something that people ended up really liking. Why are we talking about the Thunderbolts? Well, it's because one Harrison J. Indiana Han Solo Ford, and I can't remember the name of the Amish character he played way back with Kelly McGillis. If I could, I would have slid that in there too. Yeah, good old Harrison Ford. He's going to be in Marvel now, dude.
Yeah. We're taking on the mantle of Thunderbolt Ross, which is great. I think that's going to be an interesting kind of... I think there's no one better to take up the mantle. And it's a big... It's sad and nice to see that Harrison Ford is the one to take up the mantle of Thunderbolt Ross. But it's also just indicative of showing, because there's so many big names coming out to join the Marvel and DC universes. Big names that you were just they're never going to...
Well, that's it. It's like Harrison Ford doesn't seem like he's... and I'm going to use an Irish phrase, cover your kids' ears. He doesn't seem like he's arsed. He just doesn't... Most of the time he's like, Harrison Ford, he's a very funny guy, but I'm Mumbly Ford. I love the guy. And I think he's cool, and I like that he follows the beat of his own drum and all that. But when I heard Marvel, I was like, yeah, I don't know if you're going to convince him. But maybe just... Who knows what his motivation is? But if he shows up and he gives it the full Ford, I think, well, yeah, it could be. William Hurt, whose passing has opened this opportunity, I think he'll be done proud, let's say. It'll be a very different performance, because you just know those two actors have different method and different delivery. But the cool thing for me, and I could not find anywhere, I wanted to credit the person that created this image, I couldn't find anywhere. But for people who know their Marvel, might know the Red Hulk is in some way related to General Ross. I know, yeah. There's a Red Hulk for anybody who's only hearing it for the first time. Um, Somebody's done a great job giving us a Harrison Ford Red Hulk face. It'll show up for you,
Wow.
Paul, in about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I saw that there.
Holy moly. What a good job. What a great job. Really did search to try and credit the person that did this because I wanted to call them out. I know we're not getting Red Hulk. We both know we're not getting Red Hulk, okay? Harrison Ford's signed on, but is he CGI signed on? I really bloody doubt it.
Well, that's the kind of yeah. I don't yeah. We don't know how they if how would they introduce Red Hulk. There's a huge big amount of stories about the back end kind of parts to it, but that alone, that like imagery just goes maybe
You'd love to see it once. You would just love
yeah.
to see it once. But yeah, I think it's raised another newsworthy topic, and that is people are saying, well, if you can replace William Hurt, how come you can't replace Chadwick Boseman? And to those people, I say, very different having the actual main character of your movie, and no offense to the Thunderbolt Ross character, but a side character. Very much a side character.
Yeah, like I would say that it would be more difficult to, and not to go against it, like William Hurt or anything like that. It'd be a lot difficult to replace him if Thunderbolts had come out.
Yeah, yeah. If he'd actually been part of a, something to do with the title of a movie in particular. But
Yeah,
yeah, so like a lot of people said some really silly things and got a little bit overexcited about all that because I know there are people who are like recast T'Challa. I understand that movement. I understand people's thoughts. I respect all of their thoughts. In fact, but when the comparisons start being made of this isn't making a like for like comparison here, Chadwick Boseman T'Challa Black Panther is not the same as William Hurt, General Ross, Thunderbolt Ross, side character who, okay, he started doing a bit of a Wong and showing up in things for a while there, but not the same thing.
no, I would say the same thing.
So, Pops asked the obvious question, I think, yeah, does Harrison Ford have kids or grandkids? That's why Robert Redford did the Marvel movie. Exactly. I want them to see me in something. I want to be in something that they want to see while I'm still alive. Yeah, I don't have a Harrison Ford. I think we've just found that out together, folks. Um, just
Yeah, I
imagine
don't.
somebody who's grumbly. There you go.
There's there's probably a multiple reasons for us. Like we've had Sam Neill in us as a kind of a part time kind of character joke kind of thing. You have just so many characters and stuff. Like all it is that you just go into the actor and just be like, hey, would you like to play? So because I do know that certain actors are going to be more up for playing kind of like I guess administrative roles kind of thing of their character not getting involved in kind of too much kind of I guess and they are more kind of serious. Also, in fairness, if you look at Harrison Ford's history of movies, I don't think it's that far for him to join the Marvel universe. Like he's already in Star Wars, he's already in like Indiana Jones, the Patriot games. Like there's tons of examples of him joining franchises. Blade Runner 2044.
He
There's
wants
plenty
to
of-
complete the bingo card. He's like, I want to be involved. I couldn't do Game of Thrones. I've covered everything else, so why not make sure I'm in the Marvel universe now too?
I think Star Trek would be the last one.
I was just about to say, who knows? He may well play a reincarnated Kirk at some point before he goes. Yeah, and to all those people that say he's too old, etc. Come on, ageism is the last acceptable prejudice, and get over it. If somebody's able and willing, then I'm willing to let them be able. It's a little bit short sighted. I say fair play to Harrison Ford, good man.
This is it.
Paul, would you like to pick from one of your mentions? Did you want to talk about your boy yet?
No, well, I think the best thing to do is because we've talked about Black Adam and we talked about Harrison Ford. I think going on to the other DC news, because that also
Fair
leads
enough.
into something else, which I'll you'll be able to see me segue into as well.
Look at this. The man's planning segues. We're getting serious. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's show is a landmark. Effort is being put in here to actually segue from things in advance. Good man.
So yeah, Black Adam. We were talking about Black Adam. So we've now got the news that James Gunn and Peter Stanford have also joined the DC studio, which is now a separate body from the Warner Brothers media cycle. James Gunn, Peter Stanford have joined as co-chairman and CEOs of DC Studios. Previous to this news coming out, because it came out yesterday, was the fact that James Gunn had been going in to have conversations about a new DC movie, which he wanted to do, which was to do another group, but that could still be part of this story, or it could just be a cover kind of his conversations.
Well, apparently he's still going to direct, as much as Peter Safran's still going to produce, along with their new duties. I guess it's just how much and for how long they'll keep doing those things, because it'll be very hard for both of them to do their respective roles. And what do you think of the idea of co-CEO, coach? Because what I've read, the obvious delineation is going to exist, that Gunn will be creative and Peter Safran will be, production, money. So they're getting a business person and a creative person. We talked about the Kevin Feige syndrome about 6 or 8 weeks ago. You don't really find him on the street. You don't just have a creative person who can do the business. So they've been really smart. Maybe they were watching us and they were like, great, let's get people from the inside, but let's make sure their specialities are complementary, not competitive.
Yeah, like this is so that's the best way that they can do it. Essentially, if they can't find one person, do two. They'll do both. They'll do the two sides as best as they can, which is great. So like it's gonna work out in a sense of, because if you look at Peter Stanford's kind of, I won't give too much away because looking at his past is kind of giving me a segue into the next story. Peter Stanford's got an interesting kind of past of produced movies, and obviously James Gunn has already Marvel. He produced, or he's directed like a few of the Marvel movies. His last one coming out next year, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Kevin Feige has already given his blessing. He says he's going to be fantastic. It definitely feels like the release of James Gunn, because of the whole tweet thing, may have not been fully a Kevin Feige desire kind of thing. It could have just been Disney's kind of the big brother Disney kind of coming in and just going, we have to have a family kind of thing going on here. But yeah, so Kevin Feige giving a blessing, which is great, but yeah, having them split out the two roles as a producer and a director, creative and business, it's just a fantastic kind of thing. If they can't, because the idea was that we're going to get 3 people. We thought, I think, in the last thing was about 3 people.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm kind of glad that we were wrong on that one, because the other thing, like the last time these two worked directly together, Safran and Gunn, was on the Suicide Squad, as far as I know, because that's not that long ago. And it's one of those things. Was it brilliant? Did it launch? Did it take the world by storm? No. Like some people enjoyed it more than others, thought it was fine, whatever. Some people really loved it, some people really hated it. But it's good that they have a working relationship so recent on something that was for this studio. So they've already had their experience with, as creatives, together with the other upper management. Because remember, running the show it sounds great, but it's like government. People say, oh, well, there's a new prime minister or a new president. There's an awful lot of the civil servants that are still there. And they've been there for, multiple presidents and multiple prime ministers, etc. So it's good that these guys have actually done that together. I'm thinking that really it's great timing and sets them up for success. And we both, just over the moon that DC is getting to be its own studio. Like, about time. No more of this subjunction of something else. It was 7 of 9 up until now. Now it gets to be its own thing.
Yes, and to explain the reason, like I know that there's a few people going like, "Oh, well, what's the point?" kind of thing. So Warner Brothers has a code of conduct, not a code of conduct, but a code of kind of like how we make things, kind of thing, and it might have clashed with how DC Studios wanted to make things, kind of thing. So essentially, you know, Daddy Corporate was just like, "No, you can't do that. We just need to make money." DC Studios is a separate entity, doesn't have as much Overwatch as it would be if it was connected fully to the Warner Media brand. So it's a little bit more released to kind of find its own way and create it. It's the same reason why Marvel Studios is still a separate entity from Disney, but of course, Daddy Disney was still has say in a lot of things, but it doesn't have overall kind of creative control. As long as they're making money, Daddy Disney just needs to step in and just be like, no, you need more toys.
Yeah.
Um,
So look, I have hope for the future. You have hope for the future. That's a good thing.
but like, yeah, like for a person who has done, you know, multiple superhero films, which just with multiple ensembles as well, breaking out from also horror and everything like that. James Gunn has got a lot of stuff under his belt that's going to be really good for this. Peter Stanford is going to be really good, and this is going to be my segue. He has done a lot of stories in horror, specifically to do with The Conjuring. He's actually produced all of The Conjurings, which are the best horror films that have come out in the last like decade, kind of thing.
Oh, controversial take. Let's see if the how the audience feels about that. Brew, get in there with your comment.
I think the Conjuring series has been some of the best horror movies that have come out in recent history. But I'm gonna have an argument with Brew, I guess. Um, but yeah, so but this is the thing. The Conjuring 4 has started, is in the works, and this will be the first time I think that Peter Stanford isn't producing it for obvious reasons, kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's exciting to see a Conjuring 4, which is my next story, I guess. The Conjuring 4 is in the works for a couple of years, Spooktober, which is going to be great.
Well,
I think.
I've thrown up a few images for anybody who's not familiar with The Conjuring. So there was obviously the first three, but there was also the extended universe of The Conjuring with nuns and Annabelles and
Yeah.
other creepy weird stuff.
Yes, yeah. They've essentially built out a world of horror, kind of thing, which is great. Conjuring 1 to 3, and as I said, the nuns and Annabelle and stuff like that, which Peter Stanford has also produced quite a lot.
Oh well.
But yeah.
Well, a quick call back to last week. See, Halloween, that's how you do it. If you want to have a universe, try doing it this way rather than restarting your franchise half sideways a couple of times. I kid. I love the Halloween franchise. I still just can't get it out of my head that there are multiple Halloween 1, 2s, and 3s. Anyway,
Just don't have a drunken conversation with people that might also not just have drink involved and be just like, "Do you know what would be a good idea? Seasons of the Witch Halloween."
and H2O. Halloween water. There you go. So Paul,
if you have
I'm
no
excited about Conjuring 4 for one simple reason. I really like Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, but I've never watched one of the Conjuring movies. Now, I don't know if I'll be watching the Nun stuff or Annabelle stuff, but the main stuff I'll be watching in the run up to 4 when it comes out.
I like the rest of them, the Conjuring, the Annabelle and the Nuns are good. They're just not as good as the Conjuring kind of thing. The Conjuring captured that old kind of eerie, kind of ghosty kind of stuff, which is great. But yeah, and then other news for Spooktober: Silent Hill new movie is also coming back. The game was just the new games have just been announced last week or this week, which obviously has instilled the fact that the new Silent Hill film will be also made, which is Return to Silent Hill, I believe is the movie is going to be called, which is about. So far, the plot is very loose, but the news that we've gotten is that it's about a town person from Silent Hill returning back to Silent Hill, for whatever reason.
And it's the same director as the first, so he's coming back around, which is again, I know enough about the games, hadn't played them, I have seen the original Silent Hill, but I haven't seen any of the anything since then, if you know what I mean. I know there's been bits and pieces. I think it's one of those, it could be really successful. It could be Conjuring successful if they can get it right.
It could be, but I don't think it will. I think it'll just be another nice kind of game adaptation movie, which is in that mid-range kind of thing. It's not good, it's not bad, but it's enjoyable to watch if you're a fan of the franchise, kind of thing. So,
well, Paul, I've just checked the chat to see if Brew was saying The Conjuring was the worst movie of all time, and you're lucky. You have not angered the other horror god here. The Conjuring was fun. Haven't watched any of the sequels. I'll get to the nuns and dolls at some point. That sounds like a line, a character in a movie, a really bad, like something with Roddy Piper, beating up people in a trailer park or something. And I imagine the nuns and the dolls will be some sort of other street gangs that he's got to fight. I'll get to the nuns and the dolls at some point. He also says the first Silent Hill game was creepy. It's why I didn't play Silent Hill, because I had enough residual Resident Evil shock left in me. And that's the first game, back when graphics weren't that good and I was much more easily frightened.
Yeah, Silent Hill was always to me was always the more scary one. Just because I think zombies are a little bit, but Silent Hill is a difference. I think it was just so different that it kind of got me.
Yeah. A lot of people speak very highly of it. So there's more in the Spooktober vein. It's good. Paul, I'm going to send us to a little advertisement. So we're going to take a wee break. If you would all mind hanging around awfully for about 45 seconds and watch this lovely ad that we will present to you now. Hi everybody. You're probably expecting me to ask for a like or a subscribe or whatever. Not this time. All I want is your attention. I'm about to point you to another great channel, Pop Culture 33. This is a channel created and hosted by an actual historian and educator, so trust me, you're in good hands. Like movies, he's got you covered, with insights and opinion on the latest releases, classics, and great insights into technical topics like, is the IMAX format ruining movies? Not to mention, Pop Culture's encyclopedic knowledge of Disney's past and present is something that few can match. Pop Culture is a collector too. He has a DVD, Blu-ray and book collection that any entertainment fan would be envious of. And he pulls some great rarities from his archives. Do yourself a favour and check out his channel. Links are in the description down below. Don't forget to subscribe while you're over there. Tell him Hear Us Out sent you.
Yeah.
And we're back under the guise of Spooktober, Paul. So I think we kind of covered enough to make this a Spooktober episode. It's one of those news months that we could have talked about scary movies and horror stuff all the way through. But you put some cool stuff on the table. And one kind of final one that is still related to spooky stuff is your boy, Guillermo del Toro. Getting caught in my own tongue there. And it's Cabinet of Curiosities. Yeah, so in case you haven't been paying attention, folks, Paul's a big fan. I'm a fan too, but years ago when we started this channel, it was one of the first things that we kind of happened across. Was like, you really like his work, and you really do. So
yeah.
We've now got him on Netflix, Paul. How good is that?
Yeah, so Cabinet of Curiosities is his new show, which it was released last Tuesday. So Tuesday last, it is released 4 episodes. It's going to be released every Tuesday. I think there's 5 episodes to be released, so 9 altogether, kind of thing. And it's essentially short stories that are made into episodic kind of stories, or episodic episodes. Episodic episodes. That's exactly the same thing.
It works.
Take a breath.
It works.
It's episodic.
See,
and it's
Del Toro does this to him, folks. This is what love looks like.
Breathless. So it's essentially a 9 tales or series of short stories that Del Toro and others have written. He has picked directors to essentially take on the stories themselves. These are kind of directors that we may not know about too well because they're either in the horror kind of genre or kind of fringes. This is done primarily by his studio as well, and his animation studio and his animation and graphics studio, and things. So which is situated, I think, in half in Mexico, half in California as well.
Cool.
Kind of thing. So it's essentially trying to expose more storytellers and everything from his home country to the world and stuff. The Cabinet of Curiosities is also the name of his museum, or was the name of his museum. I don't know if it still is. Which is about the movie monsters and movie stories about horror and everything like that. I watched the first episode. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. Which goes, and I can't wait to watch. This is the first show, Patrick, that I'm trying not to binge.
I understand. You're going to watch it as it comes. Yeah, and I think you'll enjoy it all the more for that, to be honest, because it does look charming. He is very charming. You know, Oscar-winning director, talented, all those good things are accepted. But I think, having seen him in interviews, I said it to you earlier, he's a likable chap and he is very charming. So the idea of him doing a little bit of a Tales from the Crypt, Ripley's Believe It or Not, here I present you some cool little stories. And I've already told Paul this, but every year I pick a John Carpenter movie to rewatch for Halloween. That'll probably still happen this year, but the focus now is not watching any of this until Halloween, because it's actually going to be our Halloween night, watch. It's only 4 episodes by then probably, but that's long enough. That's our Halloween evening sorted. So I'll be binging the first 4, and I'm excited for it. I'm really happy that Del Toro's getting to do things that he's into. Like, this is obviously, this is very much his thing. And when you let somebody talented do exactly what they love, it's very rare that disappoints.
Well, this is the thing. So, I probably told this story before. He's been wanting to get Mountains of Madness, which is a H.P. Lovecraft story, made for ages. And I think this is going to soften the blow for people, that if he ever gets to make that film. Because you don't need to know anything about the Cthulhu mythos or anything like that. It's a type of horror. But the first episode is very much like that, and I'm saying that it's probably going to go on that fashion and go through different genres,
which is cool. So, it's cool, and I'm happy at their timing. It should take off. This should be one of those things that I think, if the world is a fair and just place, and it's as well made as it more than likely is, I'm hoping that by this time next week, it'll be, on the lips and mouths of everybody. I think it should be the little Halloween runaway success, which Netflix needs right now as well. I'm glad Netflix have it. They're having a bit of a tough time. It's been a year. It's been a weird year for them. So yeah, good stuff. I'm well happy about this one, as the kids would say.
Yeah, they've come out with a few horror movie or horror show stuff for Halloween and everything like that. I've only checked out the first episode of Midnight Club, which is enjoyable. I just haven't gone back to it, but I haven't seen any of the other ones yet.
Yeah, see, I see the words Midnight Club and being a car dude. For car dudes, you'll understand that it has a whole other meaning in Japanese street racing. So that I was very excited for a moment, and then I realized, oh no. Paul,
that's April. That's April month.
That's April. Yeah, I'll talk about Midnight Club, the other one, then. So, Paul, we've got some fun, happy news coming up as well. How about we talk about what everybody loves, Leslie Nielsen? Because if you don't love Leslie Nielsen, you may have met him and maybe he was really just not that nice in real life. But I'm assuming that he is as he seemed. Because for all of us that haven't met him and don't know what he was really like, he came across as a lovely, funny, charming man. And he is one of the highlights of one of my favourite films of all time. Not The Naked Gun, but Airplane. He is most remembered as Frank Drebin from Police Squad and laterally the O.J. Simpson starring Naked Gun series.
Yeah. The interesting thing, because I think we had a conversation about this, that Naked Gun is Naked Gun is the movie version of Police Squad, because it's just Naked Gun, the case files from the Police Squad,
yeah.
which is just a great kind of way of interconnecting the two kind of thing.
It was
But
awesome.
yeah, no, I'm really happy about this. This is going to be real fun. There's a Naked Gun reboot, which goes crap. I've just forgotten who.
Liam Neeson and
Liam Neeson.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Liam Neeson is going to be leading up, which is going to be fun to see him take on the role of Frank, kind of thing. But we did a show about parodies and how they've kind of lost their way and stuff, and how they're being made this time and everything like that. I'm going to be interested to see how they get on with this parody kind of thing. So this will be I'm going to say this is going to be the first new wave parody.
It's an acid test. It's definitely this is throwing it out there to see what's going to happen. For my money, it's a little bit sad that it's the Naked Gun and a remake rather than something fresh, but I'm not going to complain. Also, because this is good for views and good for interaction, get in the comments, is Liam Neeson a good choice, bad choice, or just a surprising choice? Because for me, I'm not saying good or bad, but it is a surprising choice.
It is a surprising choice for me, because like I can pick a couple of people that would have been a little bit better. I think
off the top of my head I could actually, straight away.
Like even like God, you could just get Jeff Bridges, because or what's his name? Really deep voice cowboy guy.
Sam. Oh God, not Sam Worthington. Sam Elliott.
Yeah,
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, he could be real fun.
There are lots of people they could have chosen. I think it's interesting on the back of, for Liam Neeson, it's a great choice because he cannot speak into a phone and have stunt doubles fight people forever, because that whole strange part of Liam Neeson's career since Taken of I will find you on the next 17 movies, I'll be kicking people around the room. You're like, okay, the Psycho Neeson time probably has to end. So this is a good transition for him. I hope it works well, because I'm all for, spoof movies making a comeback. I'm all for Liam Neeson trying something new. But more than anything else, Akiva Schaffer, who's going to be directing this he's the one from The Lonely Island that usually isn't on screen. That's the way I describe it to people. It's like, Jorma Taccone, he's the one that isn't Andy Samberg, but you've seen him in Hot Rod, etc., etc. Of the three Lonely Island people, he's maybe got the least amount of screen time, but he is dynamite behind the camera. So I think it stands a great chance of being a big success, and I would love it if it was.
I do too, because it might start having, it might be to test the waters of kind of having parodies come back. Like we need them. We need some kind of funny that's just parody kind of comedy stuff. So
I'd like to make you and our handful of live viewers right now, and all of you watching in future, I'm going to make a bet with you that even if this movie is fantastic, there will be a huge percentage of the population that are going to be negative about it, just because it's a remake, or do you not have any original ideas and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to get some sort of kicking, even if it's really good. If it's terrible, it'll be used as the reason why spoof can't work. It'll be the reason why remakes can't work. It'll be the reason why Liam Neeson should only do cellular phone adverts from now on.
Yeah, it'll be the next thing to kick around for a while and see why Hollywood doesn't have any fresh ideas.
Yeah, and Paul, before as I move into our final plan story, I want to shout out to our loyal listeners and viewers. If anybody wants to bring up a news topic from this month for us to discuss right now, stick it in the chat. Because I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes, Paul, being just really happy and excited at news that came out technically like 12 hours before this month started, but I'm including it. Damn it, it was close enough. It's between the last news and this news on our channel. There's going to be a movie. 6 seasons and a movie. For all the community fans, they know what that means. I loved Community. Everybody who knows me knows I love Community because I keep pushing it on them. Even the Yahoo season, the season when it was on a network that doesn't exist anymore. I think it's
Yeah.
genius. I love all the people involved. I love everything about it. But there was a gag line in season 2 where it was like, how long will this all last? And it was 6 seasons in a movie. They did manage 6 seasons across, 3.5 networks.
Yeah.
Now there's going to be a movie. Some of the controversy is already kicking off about who's going to be back for said movie. Joel McHale, tagged a bunch of people in his kind of and a movie Twitter post. One of the people who is not going to be back, or maybe is going to be back, but right now isn't confirmed, Yvette Nicole Brown. She's happy. I don't think it's on the rest of us to step in for anybody else and be offended for them. So if she was going to be upset, I would be fine with her saying she's upset. I would love her to be in the movie. But if she's not for her reasons or for someone else's reasons, it's not going to dampen my excitement. Same thing with Donald Glover. If he's not in it, that's a shame. But remember, he left halfway through the 3 of the 6 seasons anyway. So there is enough Community for it to continue, and I hope that movie is going to be a massive hit because I'll watch it one way or the other.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be great. Like, the community fan base deserves essentially a final send off. And yeah, I looked into it, and some people are just getting like, it's like, Chevy Chase and all this kind of, bringing back some of the old controversies that are happened before and stuff like that. And you're just like, let's just watch what comes out. Let's see where the dust settles when they announce the actual cast that are returning, kind of thing. A lot of people are also like sad that some of the secondary kind of like characters might not be returning in any kind of way as well. And you're just like, well, they might be busy. Like, it's there's no point in speculating right now. Like, it's actually a tweet and an announcement kind of thing that this is happening, and loads of people like exploded going like, oh, I can't believe this. And I'm just like, let the dust settle.
It's weird because like I love Community, but I'm not going to start jumping on a Justice for Starburns kind of campaign or something like that. Yeah, let's look forward to it coming out. So Paul, that's our planned news. What do you want to...
Do you think Subway will be back in the movie?
I you know what? I would very much hope that they get a good, honest nod or decent mention anyway, because they put their money where we needed, and we put our mouths where their sandwiches are. That kind of went wrong for me, Paul. Let's move on.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I hope they do get a nod.
Which is what is happening with Doctor Who? Is it going to be on Disney Plus? New season Disney Plus, old seasons are still on HBO Max in the States. So Doctor Who is going to be the new home, or Disney Plus is going to be the new home for Doctor Who going forward. Yeah. So I think Disney Plus are in talks to buy the back catalogue. Obviously there's certain episodes that don't exist anymore. Sad to say that the archive doesn't have them or anything like that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, but it's because it's a BBC production, and it's essentially just Disney Plus are now trying to buy the rights to have it on there. So it's essentially streaming shows. It's streaming platforms buying content again.
Yeah.
And this time Disney Plus is outbidding HBO Max kind of thing, especially with HBO Max. Or is it like of questionable future?
Who knows? Yeah, with the future of HBO.
Yeah, so it makes sense that Disney would be going to HBO Max and kind of going, or going to BBC and just being like, well, HBO Max might be going away, so we would like to house Disney or Doctor Who.
Whenever contracts run out, things will change anyway. Even if there isn't any effort before then. I think if Disney can get their foothold in with the future of Doctor Who, they'll eventually get the rights to the past. And I guess the big question is, what is the future of Doctor Who? Because I have not been keeping up. I'll be honest, I have not been keeping up, but I know it's been getting a lot of mentions here and there lately.
Well, so the end of the third season for the 13th Doctor.
She was, yeah, Jodie
Jodie's,
Whittaker or something like that. Is
yeah,
it?
Jodie. I can. It's Jodie Whittaker or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Her third season as the Doctor has come to an end. A new short film, which happens at the end of these kind of things, called "The Power of the Doctor," is going to be coming out. So essentially, the resurgence of essentially Doctor Who is up. I think
Is
the
imminent.
popularity kind of thing.
Yeah.
No matter what you think of Jodie as the Doctor, I think the opening of her stint as the Doctor was unfair by a lot of people, and she has moved forward very well.
I remember people being assy about things again.
Yep.
Let's make the world better, Paul. Yeah, so let's not even give them the time of day. I'm excited about the idea of, I'm always excited, even though I stopped watching Doctor Who around the Sylvester McCoy era, which ages me straight away. It's weird that I still get excited just knowing that there's going to be a new Doctor Who, because I like Peter Capaldi showing up after. Was he after Chris? No, was he after David Tennant? No, he was after the other guy.
Sorry, who?
I just said his name, and now his name's fallen out of my head.
Matt Smith.
He was
Christopher
after
Eccleston.
Matt Smith. So it was Christopher
Peter
Eccleston, then
Capaldi.
David Tennant, then Matt Smith, then
Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi. Thank you, from the thick of it, because I remember him being announced, and me off my like 15th binge watch of In the Thick of It, where he plays a very non-Doctor Who type character. I was like excited. And then I heard about Jodie Whittaker, and I was excited. So I've got that excitement again, even though I know I'm not going to go back to being an avid watcher. So it's a good thing for the franchise.
Yeah, it's a good. It's like this kind of thing where I'm just like, I don't think a lot. Like, I think the diehard fans who've stuck with the show and have loved every moment, they deserve everything. They deserve, the future of every good story and everything like that. I believe that, I guess, casual watchers and stuff like that who going in because it's a popular show and left because Jodie was announced as the Doctor, can go to hell.
I
Go to
endorse
cinema
what
hell.
he just said. Yeah.
Which goes.
F off.
I will say that I stopped in the third season of Peter Capaldi's stint as the Doctor, not for any other reason than that was a time in my life when too much content was being come out, and Doctor Who was but Peter Capaldi has been a great one, and what I've seen of Jodie Whittaker has been amazing. I'm looking forward to catching up and watching The Power of the Doctor, which had a nice surprise finale for the show, with a return of someone.
I think I know who, because I think I saw a headline. Yeah. Well, I say fair play, and that's the only questions that we got dropped in there, Paul. So I think it's about time we docked this ship full of waffle that we call Heroes Out and make our own way back to the TARDIS and see what the future is for us. I know what the future is for everybody watching us right now, because that is to like, share, and subscribe right now. Do that right now. Don't do anything else. But also, after you've done that, you got to check out our good friends. All links in the description below. You can see Paul over there, or that guy over there, I'm pointing the wrong way again, on Homebrew Quest, that's your search term for YouTube, doing some D&D with some drinks, which is the third D in D&D that nobody ever mentions.
Dungeons, Dragons, and drink.
There you go. I can see a logo coming out of this somewhere, actually. And also, our good friend Pop Culture has some exciting stuff on the horizon. Don't forget It Takes Two, a movie podcast that, let's face it, Paul, if we were as good as them, we'd probably be better. So check all of our friends out. And Paul, I think everybody should meet us here next week, except we're not going to be here. We've got a surprise recording, which, even though it's after Spooktober, Paul, hit me with a Spooktober.
Spooktober.
Love it. We're going to give you a little rapid review of a Halloween area, because I don't want to call it a horror, but let's just say a classic that you may have forgotten about. And I'm not telling you what it is, because you got to check out our video for next week.
Indeed, indeed. That's also not a clue.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Which goes, thank you very much for watching. Which goes, like, subscribe, as Patrick said. If you have any stories that you want us to cover, which goes, or any topics that you want to cover, message us on the socials. Which goes, otherwise, and then, you know, just share us out as much as possible. Come on, it's Halloween. Get my Spooktober, and which is Patrick's awesome graphic, which is even further out there. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Paul.
I've been Patrick.
And we've been Hear Us Out.
And this has been... What is it, Paul?
It's the last episode of Spooktober. Until next year.
See y'all soon. Take care.